but the movement patterns are all the same. When we're talking hinging at the hips on the mound is the same as at the hips on a deadlift.
Right.
And it's really interesting too, because when kids come in and they're getting really dumping forward into their quads on their deadlifts, they're getting out onto their toes when they first start off. Then as soon as they touch the rubber, they're leaking out into their quad. They're not loading into the hips like they should be. Most high school pitchers know that they want to be loading, corkscrewing, or swiveling into their back hip, but a lot of them don't realize that every time they deadlift, if they're leaking out forward, they're training the wrong movement pattern, and they're teaching themselves to not do what they want to do on the mound.
Right.
Where if they can just clean it up, get really good at it in the weight room, then a lot of times it just fixes itself on the mound too.
The mechanics and the movement efficiency and the patterns you're working on here translates exactly to what they're doing on the mound. Because I think for a lot of athletes, that maybe doesn't click right away, especially if they're new to training.
A kid who comes in to lift, if we're on the mound with them, and we see, for example, just like we were talking about, like leaking into the quad as they're coming down the mound, if we see them start to do that, we'll tell them, get to your leg lift and then do a deadlift. And then all of a sudden they start to sit back and they'll start to load into their hips as they work down the mound. And then things will start to look better and more efficient as they're coming down the mound.